Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As you see here, I start another Jersey Quest franchise mode. This time we are in NHL 23, so just going to quickly introduce kind of team, player, jersey, reason why, and then first season expectations, all the good stuff quick. So, as you can see here, we're in NHL 23, as I said, playing as the New York Islanders again for the third Jersey Quest in a row, which is kind of coincidental, but just is what it is. It's not unsurprising, considering it's all players who played for the Islanders at some point. So it's not going to be like that unreasonable to that we're going to hit a string of them who actually played there at that like 1000th game with the Islanders. But in terms of the player, we hop in here to edit lines because it's just the easiest way to find them. Turn the head coach off. It is Josh Bailey. So obviously he's played like kind of all across the forward line, like center, left wing, right wing throughout his career. But as you can see, the game here lists him as a left winger, so that's why he counts as our second left winger on this kind of journey here. Hopefully he'll be the first one this kind of second line of players that'll actually be a success, because first three, Salo, Andy Green, and Adrian Aucoin, have all been failures so far, so hopefully he'll be a success. But yeah, so he played 1,057 games in his NHL career. He played his 1,000th game on October 28th, 2022, so that's why we're in NHL 23, at the Carolina Hurricanes, where he beat them pretty handily. He scored a goal in that game. So, as it was a away game, jersey is a 22-23 away jersey, so it's obviously white, prime green with the has our 50th season, the 50th anniversary patch on it. So I've had like one of each, a home and away one that I got like at UBS that year, and I've like never been able ever like kind of had jerseys to put them on or like players to put on said jerseys either. So this one will be a success. It'll be nice. I can finally use one of my white one for the away jersey. And this is honestly kind of a funny coincidental. I guess we're gonna get here eventually, but a fun one for me personally because I wasn't at the game in Carolina where he plays the 1000th game, but the next night was the 20. I think it was the 29th. It was like the next night was at home against the Avalanche. And that's like when they actually like the little ceremony, like the ceremony stuff honoring him for his 1000th game. I actually was in attendance at that game, so I got to see the ceremony. So I'll see if I can find a picture from then. 'Cause I might like put it on the community page, like a picture that I took from that day because I was at the game. It was pretty cool. See like a Silver Stick 1000th game ceremony in person like that. And it was also, I think that's like my first game that I attended like since the like end of the COVID-19 pandemic. So it was kind of a pretty special moment for me being able to go back to a hockey game again for the first time in a couple of years, and like being that. So Josh Bailey is probably one of my favorite Islanders from the time, from like it's like from the 2019 series against Pittsburgh, and yeah, so this would be a fun one. So we're hoping it's a success. So obviously he ended up retiring at the end after the season because we set up traded him to Chicago. They bought him out. Then he had a PTO at Ottawa and didn't get signed to a contract and ended up retiring because he was only 32, as you can see here. So if you like go in here, actually, let's check a look. Yeah, he's still got 2 years left on his deal, so they bought out the final year of his contract. So we do have at least 2 years here so to succeed, so it won't be a one and done, thankfully. And honestly, it might be more than that because he's only 32, so it'll be, what, 34 after the second season, so he might be able to last 1 or 2 seasons more, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so hopefully we can succeed in this one. It might be hard because this obviously more recent times where they haven't been too hot. So this is the year under Lane Lambert where we made the playoffs and then got bounced by Carolina the first time. So we'll see. We should that in mind we should make the playoffs this year hopefully because this is how we ended up sneaking in pretty much like basically like on the last pretty much barely. So we'll have to see if I guess yeah we like barely snuck in. That's all right. Okay, so yeah, so it's gonna be very probably difficult for us to actually make. We'll see. Hopefully we do make it, but yeah. So I think I covered everything. Yes, the team is the Islanders. Players Josh Bailey. Jersey's the away jersey with the 50th anniversary patch, and I see he played 1,057 games, so we're still in that like 1,000th game, such 500th game for goalies kind of thing. Which honestly will take us a while, so I already have. See how many ones on here that were players I like skipped over because they're like further down the line. The positions you've already covered. Yeah, so I've already got the next two lined up, center and right wing. Then we got a couple more centers that I've already done that I got like picked out already, and then a defenseman as well. So we're kind of chugging along here with this, so it should be fun. But yeah, gotta stop talking now. In a couple seconds, it'll be the 22-23 season recap, or hopefully we can go further than the first round and maybe make a run for the cup and win the cup. That'd be pretty cool, but I guess you'll find out in a couple seconds. Okay, so here we are in the free agency period after the 22-23 season, and as you can see, smack dab like in the basically center of the screen, we did not win the Stanley Cup. So we'll kind of just quickly go through this season and kind of free agency moves and expectations for next season. So it doesn't really matter which version you click on, it's going to be the same screen. So yeah, as you can see here, we finished with a 51, 28, and 3 record, which was good for, it's probably what, 105 points? Yeah, 105 points, which was second in the Metro. Yeah, 3.11 goals for per game, 2.39 goals against, which is pretty solid. As you can see here, our leading scorer is Matty Barzal with 88 points. We kind of go on so you can look at Josh Bailey's stats. It was 26 goals, 62 assists for 88 points. Pretty solid stuff. As you can see down here, Josh Bailey did miss some time with injury, but still managed to pick up 13 goals, 27 assists for 40 points, which is pretty solid, I'd say. Playing on the, I think he played on the second line with Nelson. Yeah, he played on the second line with Nelson and Palmieri for most of the season. But pretty solid stuff, I'd say, out of him. All right, so that's regular season pretty much covered. So let's peep the playoff tree. As you can see, we got matchup against the Penguins, who finished third in the Metro with 105 points. So you had whatever the tiebreaker is, which I think it's regulation plus overtime wins, I think is the tiebreaker. But we had home ice. Didn't really matter though. So I simmed games 1, 2, and 4 and played game 3 because obviously we made it 6 against Carolina, won games 3 and 5. So if we had gotten to those games, we would have played them and simmed the rest, but we ended up sweeping them 2-1 and 4-3 overtime wins. Then I played game 3 to 1, 5-1, and then we finished it off in game 4 with a 4-0 win. Round 2, we got matchup against the Maple Leafs, another sweep with 2-0, 4-3, 3-2, and 7-2 wins. And then basically for the third time in 4 years, it was a Tampa Bay Lightning and New York Islanders Eastern Conference Final, where the Lightning won, unfortunately. They won game 1, 4-1, game 2, 3-1. They won game 3, 4-3 in overtime. They won game 4, 3-1. They won game 5, 6-2, and they won game 6, 4-2 to knock us out. And they went on and crapped all over the team from the West, which was the Minnesota Wild, and swept them 4-0 to win the Cup. In terms of playoff scoring, leading scorer you probably saw on the home screen was Bo Horvat, 7 goals, 10 assists for 17 points. Josh Bailey, slide down here, 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points, which I'm pretty sure like most of that came when I played game 3, and I'm pretty sure I had 2 assists with him, so basically most of his points came in that one game, which is a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. So in terms of awards in the general sense, obviously as you said, Tampa Bay won the Cup. President's Trophy went to the Avalanche, who finished with 124 points, which is kind of wild. And then as we saw, Lightning beat the Wild in the final. Individual awards are also to My Worst Nightmare, Patrick Kane on the Rangers, for 97 points, which was tied with Mikko Rantanen, so I guess he must have scored more goals. I was pretty sure that's the tiebreaker. Hart went to Sidney Crosby, who finished with 90 points. Norris went to Adam Fox of the Rangers. Lady Byng went to Matty Barzal, so that's pretty sweet. He picked up an award there for a pretty solid season. Calder went to Mason McTavish. Conn Smythe went to Braden Point. Vasilevsky won the Vezina. Not really a surprise there. Jennings went to Sorokin and Varlamov, who obviously shared it because they had a decent split at the starts. So I guess because we had, that's a 2.39 goals against per game, which is pretty solid, obviously. So it must have been best in the league. Everyone on the Jennings. Master went to Kevin Shattenkirk. Not the Jack Adams. The Master went to him. Jack Adams went to the Ducks coach. Which, what did they finish with? They finished the first wild card, the West, at 93 points. Which I guess is good enough because they sucked that year, I'm pretty sure. Selke went to Crosby, which is, I don't, has Crosby ever won the Selke? I'm looking that up right now. Let's go on Wikipedia. Let's look up Sid the Kid, Sidney Crosby. Let's go to honors and achievements. Honor. Let's see if I type in F, Selke. Yeah, I don't think he's ever actually won the Selkies. That's one of the trophies, few trophies Sidney Crosby has not won in his career, but he won it here in this NHL 23 franchise mode, which is good for him, I guess. He also won the Ted Lindsay, which is honestly kind of surprising. And then Rocket Richard, not a surprise, went to Ovi, who finished with, where is he, 91 points overall. So, all in all, pretty decent season. Finished way better than Islanders actually did that year. Made to the conference finals and lost to our old nemesis, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Josh Bailey had a good season in the regular season. So kind of how did we follow that up in terms of free agency moves and stuff? So kind of the big departures from the lineup were basically Pierre Engvall didn't want to re-sign, so I didn't, pull a Lou and sign him to that like ungodly deal that he is currently on. And then Varlamov, I didn't sign it. I didn't re-sign because we have like no cap space, obviously, and he was gonna want way too much money. So I was like, all right, sorry, Varley, gotta say bye-bye. So we needed a backup goalie. Engvall was on the fourth line the whole year, so basically Matty Martin still has a year left in his deal, so he's just gonna take his spot. And then Zach Parise, like, he's old and he's like basically a third line winger. Most of our players are like middle six, bottom six guys. I already have Josh Bailey to take that role. So I was basically going in looking for a first or second line left winger, because Anders Lee's technically the game listens as a second line forward, even though he's an 86 overall, so potentially a first or second line left winger, and then a backup goalie for Sorokin. So based on who was available, if we go to view contracts, so for second line or first line, the only options really were Patty Kane, and I forget who else was like also old. So it's like, yeah, that ain't happening. And we also have like no cap space. So first, a second line player with Max Domi, because he allegedly, you can't see it now, but like when his scouting report, like when I was on the free agency screen, said he was like a really good fit for a second line with our current coach. Even though I potentially want to get rid of that coach because he doesn't really fit with Josh Bailey that much. Actually, that's not 100% true if you look at the thing. Yeah. Josh Bailey's not like a great fit on any of the line. Like he's a decent fit on a couple of lines, but he's not really like a great fit because all of them have shoot as their thing. He's more of he's a passer obviously, so he's got cycle on his. So, but none of the coaches that are available in the market really had what we were looking for either. So we're gonna stick with our current guy, at least for this next season. So I was like, I'll sign Max Domi, who's apparently a good fit for our current setup on the second line to a 1-year deal. Because he had 1738. Do the math. That's 12. That's fifth. Is it 65 points? I can't. Is that right? 55 points. That's Jesus. Yeah, so 55 points with Dallas. What the heck? He must have gotten traded, I guess. So yeah, it's 55 points. Not bad. Might as well he can slot in. Kind of him and Nelson can either want to be center, want to be left wing on the second line, and Lee will stay on the first line with Barzy and Bo. And then in terms of backup goaltender, I was like, all right, he had a 924 save percentage in 35 games. With that was in the AHL. I'm an idiot. Well, I assume he'll be fine because I'm pretty sure Brossois' thing is pretty much he has like bad year, like good year, bad year. Well, I guess we're making him on a bad year, but he's also in the AHL. Yeah, but so I thought those numbers were NHL numbers, not AHL numbers, which goes to show you should probably check these things before you commit. But sign Laurent Brossois to like a 2-year contract because it also doesn't really matter in the end because Sorokin, he's going to be starting like the vast majority of the games anyways at a 91 overall. But yeah, so Brossois. The backup, Max Domi, our kind of new second line center / winger, depending on how the game ends up setting it up. And that's the only free agency moves. I was potentially considering trading Palmieri to bring someone else in because he's on like his contract and he's like not really a good overall. But I was like, we'll just keep him because there's no one really on the free agency market that I was like, wow, I want to bring you in on like a long-term deal. Also because we don't have a coach that fits with Josh Bailey, so we're going into the last year of Bailey's contract. Also, so that's also another consideration to make that next season might be the last one, so just might as well go short-term stuff and not shake things up too much on a team that was really good. So expectations, I don't think we're going to finish with 105 points again. Just the combination is, I don't know, understand how that even happened. And two, because we are obviously downgrading from Varlamov to Brossois. Like, the rest of their moves are pretty much lateral or upgrades. Like, Engvall from Adam Martin is a bit of a downgrade, but we're going to basically have that energy line together with Matty, Cizikas, and Clutterbuck. And then Max Domi is basically an upgrade on Zach Parise, I would say. So we should hopefully make the playoffs. And then again, it's basically just going to be like luck of the draw matchups. If we can get Carolina or Tampa Bay, I'll be able to play the away games, and that might give us a chance at moving ahead. But if not, it's going to be luck of the draw, and then kind of luck of the sim engine as well. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to stop talking for now. In a couple seconds will be the 23-24 season recap. We'll see if A, we can win the cup, and B, if what Josh Bailey's future holds for us in this franchise mode. But yeah, so I'll stop talking now. You'll hear from me again in a couple of seconds. Okay, so here we are, post Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and as you can see here, this is a successful Jersey Quest franchise mode. We won the Stanley Cup in 5 games over the Kraken. So let's kind of get into how we got here, and then we'll advance today and see who won all the individual awards and stuff. But didn't want to mess it up so you can see all the players, because in case some players can move down to the minors after the season's over for whatever reason, so you can't see their stats and stuff. So starting with the regular season, finished with a 48, 25, and 9 record, which was good for 105 points again. So we won a couple less games, but managed the same amount of points in the end. And we ended up finishing first in the Metro with that 105 points. So all we kind of stayed the same. The other teams around us regressed. We had 3.20 goals for per game, 2.56 goals against, which is pretty solid again. In terms of scoring, as you can see here, Bo Horvat, so leading scorer, 48 goals, 49 assists, 97 points. Barzy not far behind him. And down here, Josh Bailey, 16 goals, 27 assists for 43 points. Pretty solid stuff. Plus 14. Kind of moving around between lines because his players got injured and stuff. He ended up bouncing around between a couple different lines, but it's a pretty solid production overall from him. So then, as see the awards, we'll get advanced and get to that soon, but playoff tree. So see, we started off round 1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs and simmed all those games. Won game 1, 6-1. Lost game 2, 4-1. Then won the next 3, 3-0, 4-3, and 4-2 to advance on to round 2 and face the Carolina Hurricanes, who were kind of the Jersey Quest kind of moment rivals, because as I said, Josh Bailey's last game came on the road against Carolina. So they played the road games, which was games 3, 4, and 6. Carolina took a 2-0 lead with 3-2 and 5-2 wins. And then clawed it back with 2-3-0 wins. They won game 5, 4-1. Kind of went hard. Game 6 won 6-0 to ensure our survival. And then we ended up winning game 7, 7-3 to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals again and face Tampa Bay Lightning again. So we kind of got lucky here with our playoff matchups after the first round. So Tampa Bay Lightning, they were first in the Atlantic with 99 points. So I played games 3 and 4 here of our sweep. So we won games 1, 2, 5-2, and 4-2, and games 3 and 4, 4-1, and 6-1 to advance to the Stanley Cup Final against the expansion Seattle Kraken, where I simmed all the games. Game 1, they won 2-0. Then they tied it up with a 5-3 win in game 2, but we then won the next 3, 6-1, 2-1, and 5-2 to win the Stanley Cup, which is excellent. Super hump. This is what I really wanted to win. As I said, I was at the Silver Six ceremony for Josh Bailey, so this is one I really wanted to win, be successful, so I'm really hyped that it was. Leading scorer in the playoffs was Bo Horvat, 15 goals, 18 assists for 33 points, which is, I'd say, pretty solid stuff. That's well over a point per game. Then Josh Bailey down here, pretty solid. 9 goals, 7 assists for 16 points, plus 9. Played mostly on, I think, the second line with Brock and Max Domi. So pretty solid stuff from him there in the playoffs. I see there are our top line, then Pelech and Pulock plus 25, plus 26. They were excellent. They kind of hard carried us here, but Sometimes what you need is your best players to step up in the playoffs, and they did just that. Oh, might as well, I guess, because this is our cup winning team. Gotta just go through the entire roster quick so you can see all the scoring. So, to be quiet for a second and scroll through them. So, there's Josh Bailey. And I guess let's look at Sorokin and Brassois stats. So Sorokin really solid season. I'm kind of hoping he wins the Vezina. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Because he had 9 shutouts, 917, 2.45 goals against in 70 games. Pretty solid stuff from him. And Brassois was more than serviceable in his limited appearance with a 916 save percentage. In the playoffs, let's just go through it once again. So Josh Bailey. And then let's look at Sorokin. He played every game, every minute of every game pretty much. All 16 wins, 5 shutouts along the way, 930 and a 1.89 goals against. So he would have been my pick, honestly, for the Conn Smythe, stats like that. But like, this seemed like the ceremony at the end, like that the game picked Bo Horvat. I'm assuming, being sometimes it ends up being different than that, like in that little ceremony. But yeah, I would have honestly picked Sorokin with stats like that. 5 shutouts and 930 in the playoffs is excellent stuff. So in terms of the award, the rest of the kind of last thing is just individual awards and stuff. So we'll just go to advanced day here and see if that. Nope. Okay. There we go. Oh, we did the double. Jesus. New York Islanders and the Bridgeport Islanders. Stanley Cup and Calder Cup, which is honestly funny because our AHL team I thought was kind of cheeks, but Ruslan Ishakov carrying us there. It looks like, but that's pretty funny. But it's kind of, I guess, look at the awards, as I said, to wrap up here. And then it'll be like, you'll see like the cup ceremony and stuff, and Josh Bailey, everyone lifting the cup. So obviously we won the cup. Preston struggling with the Avalanche again, who finished with 106 points. And then we beat the Kraken in the final. Individual awards, Art Ross went to Tage Thompson with the Sabres, who finished with 101 points. He then, I guess, wins the Hart, which is unsurprising. Norris goes to Quinn Hughes. I'm just like typing this in my little spreadsheet as I go here. Hughes, Vancouver. Lady Byng also goes to Quinn Hughes. Calder goes to Connor Bedard, who I guess got drafted by Columbus. Smythe goes to Horvat, who, as we saw, finished with 33 points in the playoffs. He did in the regular season. As I said, his 97 was good for second in the league, and then Barzzi's 95 was third. Oh, there, see, as I kind of correctly surmised and was hoping, Sorokin won the Vezina with his incredible stats. And then he won the Jennings again, but obviously, because I don't think Brassois, I think the minimum, yeah, it's 25 games played, so Brassois does not get to share it with Sorokin, but that's all right. Masterton went to, I don't know, I think his first name is Patrick. I'm not 100% sure. Nemeth of the Arizona Coyotes, RIP. Jack Adams went to Seattle's coach, D. Waugh. Let's see, how much, where did they finish the regular season? They finished third in their division with 95 points, which I guess is pretty solid, because what they finished with the year before, 76 points. That's a pretty big jump up, yes, I can see why he won the Conn Smythe. The Jack Adams. Selke goes to Kopitar. Not really a surprise there. He's one of the few other guys that'll pretty much always win it. And then Ted Lindsay, Tage Thompson. And then Rocket Richard, yeah, goes to, it's the tie between Bo Horvat and Mikko Rantanen, but the game correctly puts the better player, not actually, well, yeah, definitely not the actual better player, but in my heart, the better player on the screen here, Bo Horvat with his 48 goals. So that's actually how many Rantanen had. He finished with 90 points in the season, so pretty solid stuff overall from him as well. But yeah, this is exciting. This is what I really wanted to be a success because I was, as I said, was at Josh Bailey's kind of Silver Six ceremony. If I remember, I'll try and see if I can find a photo. I don't know if I'll include it in the video, but I might throw it on like the community page or whatever, like the picture or a video I have from that event. Because it was pretty cool to go see that. So yeah, that's another huge success. Next up will be Kit Quest Career Mode. Who? Not really sure, to be honest. But it honestly might be a really fun one if my math, not my math, but like my thinking is correct, but it might not be. But either way, it should be fun. But we have a pretty super kind of fun one planned soon, so see if that is the next one or not. But yeah, this was a great success. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and you'll check out the Kit Quest Career Mode, which will be following up on the channel.
And there it is! No harder trophy to win in sports than the Stanley Cup, and they're doing it. Every time I see the players celebrate, I can't help but feel a little jealousy for the fact that they got to run through the final stage. They deserved the trophy, and I never got to lift it. I look at them and I go, man, you guys have accomplished everything. Trophy to win in sports has arrived. Now the Stanley Cup is here. Now we'll see who gets to hoist it over their head first. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Here comes Cap to collect the cup. And for the very first time, you can only imagine the emotion coursing through him. He'll have the cup just like in his dreams. Ray, the guys were wearing those T-shirts at the start of the postseason. No passengers. Case in point, another key contributor right here. Well, there are people that make huge contributions and others that just have a small bit part. But when they look to you to contribute, you have to answer the bell. Here's a great example of that. Ray, I think to win a Stanley Cup these days, you need critical goaltending, you need big play goaltending, and they got it from them. Well, they did, but it's really rare to win without it. And I guess when you get to this point, you have to win so many games in such a condensed period of time, your goalie has to be sharp. He delivered. What a series, your Conn Smythe winner, Ray. Yeah, I'd better clear off the mantle. I mean, you're going to have your mini Stanley Cup at home, and now your mini Conn Smythe trophy at home, too. What a deserving winner, as he was the best player start to finish of this tournament. Is this where you get jealous in these celebrations here? No, I was jealous before when the cup came out. I am again now.